What's up, guys? Optic Carlton here. It's been a while. I wanted to make a quick video, let y'all know I was still alive. But I wanted to talk about Spec Ops: The Line and the story of that game and how it is probably one of the best video game stories ever. And I'll explain why. And that seems like kind of a bold statement. And I don't mean best stories in terms of like character development, emotional appeal, and all that stuff. I'm talking about in terms of how true a reflection of war that game really is. Because I know a lot of you guys are younger and you don't really have like a very good understanding of war. And don't get me wrong, I don't claim to have like some great knowledge firsthand because I'm never deployed. But I would hate to disrupt anybody's perceptions of reality. But Call of Duty is a extremely fake interpretation of what war is like. You don't run around with endless amounts of ammo, mowing people down with no emotional consequences or no legal consequences. It's just not like that. I think the most confirmed kills anybody's ever got, any soldier ever, is like in the neighborhood of 200. There was some guy from Finland during their war with the Russians right before World War II, and it's in Call of Duty. You get that like in the first 10 minutes you play, but it's not like that. When you shoot people, they don't always die right away. And oftentimes they don't die, and it can be pretty gruesome. I mean, I have a hard time watching animals die because I hunt and stuff. And if you cripple any man-sized mammal, you can kind of get an idea of what it's like to get shot. And I'm not saying in Spec Ops, there is a lot of like the countless waves of dudes coming at you, but the point is, Spec Ops: The Line lays a scenario out where a lot of times it's difficult to decide who is right and who is wrong in a conflict, and whether or not you support one side or the other, both sides are going to do things that are morally questionable. You don't ride in on a white horse with a wave of justice following you and righteousness. Sometimes the right side of a conflict will do things that you would consider pretty evil. We see this a lot in Iraq and Afghanistan. Well, we don't see it a lot, but it does happen a lot. But we tend to gloss over things like that because we sort of have this jingoistic mentality that we're America and whatever we do is correct, just simply by the fact that we do it. And I think Spec Ops did a really good job of pointing out that morality is ambiguous. It doesn't side with one person or the other. We're all just people, and people do bad things. And violence is a very terrible thing, and is not something that should be glorified, even though in our society we do it a lot. And I think especially our generation is very desensitized to it, and to a certain extent, because with violent media being so prevalent and with modern technology making it a lot more realistic, we don't really come close to what real violence is actually like, but we do get closer and closer to it. And I think that Spec Ops took a completely different approach to violence, and how as the game progresses, it gets more and more violent, and the lines, I guess like the line, becomes blurred as to what is right, what is wrong, what's the justification for doing certain things. And I think it's something that does not exist really. You see it in movies occasionally, but to question the use of force and its ramifications is something that we don't nearly go into enough, especially in the video game world. Movies touch on it a little bit, but video games, especially shooters, when you're out shooting people in video games, it's always for the right reasons, and you're always completely justified in doing so. So I would say Spec Ops is a very good game. Everybody should play it, rent it, whatever. Play it, and you can actually learn a lot from it, because I think that is a closer depiction of war than any Call of Duty Battlefield, anything like that. That is, and not now. I'm not going to go so far to say that's what it's like, because it's not, obviously. But in terms of the moral consequences, the emotional consequences of what using violence does, I think it is. There's not really any other game that can kind of take that approach. So check it out. This is Up the Carlton. Peace.